A lot of us complain about after our 30s or 40s. We're like, where did my brain go? It could be frequent headaches, could be digestive issues. So a lot of times we have a constellation of symptoms that start inside of us. And I know for myself, when they start to ramp up, I all of a sudden go, I guess this is aging. And so many of my friends, when I meet up with them, say, yeah, I'm just aging. I guess this is just how life is now. And I always say, that is not aging. That is inflammaging. This is inflammation that makes you feel like you are aging. Pause on the inflammation and you'll see that those symptoms will go away.
All right, guys, today I get to sit down with Dr. Shivani Gupta. She is an Ayurvedic practitioner and lifestyle coach, and we're gonna be talking about one powerful tool that you are likely missing that could be contributing to brain fog, joint stiffness, so many of these things that we experience in our lives, especially as women, but for guys too. And we're gonna give you some incredible, easy nuggets, tips, and takeaways that you can incorporate today. Hello, Dr. Shivani. So good to see you. I'm so glad to sit down and have this conversation.
Me too.
Yeah, so, okay, I know we are going to talk about inflammation today. And I think most of us know what inflammation is, or at least think we know what it is. But I always love that, kind of that concept of like define a word so that we don't lose anyone on these concepts as we move forward into this incredible conversation.
Absolutely. I think of inflammation as this forest fire burning inside of us, causing damage, but the fire alarms have been turned off. And I've seen that historically in my own family. My whole family suffers from diabetes. And so growing up, I saw, what is wrong that at the last quarter of our lives, we're spending so much time and money and effort in hospitals, in doctors' offices, trying to fix ourselves. What is that root cause issue from the beginning that caused all this? And that's when I realized inflammation is this problem. It's damaging us from the inside. It's wreaking havoc. And we just don't realize it until so much later in the game, where then we're really putting out the fire with the big guns and the big tools. And we could have much earlier started addressing this through lifestyle and through little subtle shifts.
Okay, which you're going to teach today, which I love. You're amazing at delivering value. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with you. This woman is a gold mine of resources, so hang in. What are some signs and symptoms that somebody has inflammation? Because I think right now, we're all like, which way do I point? I've got all these things going on. So what are some of the symptoms, and then how can we know that inflammation is what's causing it?
Well, a lot of times those symptoms show up as joint pain, aches and pains. You wake up in the morning and all of a sudden when you put your feet down, you're like, I don't feel great. Or you wake up tired or get tired earlier in your day. Another one could be the brain fog. A lot of us complain about after our 30s or 40s. We're like, where did my brain go? It could be frequent headaches, could be digestive issues. So a lot of times we have a constellation of symptoms that start inside of us. And I know for myself, when they start to ramp up, I all of a sudden go, I guess this is aging. And so many of my friends, when I meet up with them, say, yeah, I'm just aging. I guess this is just how life is now. And I always say, that is not aging. That is inflammaging. This is inflammation that makes you feel like you are aging. Pause on the inflammation and you'll see that those symptoms will go away. And they're always like, okay, well, what can I take for that? And usually we're used to a pill for a problem.
Yeah.
And that's the society we're in right now, where we want those quick fixes. We want to get out of trouble and we want to move on. And so for about a decade after I did my PhD on turmeric, I studied it in depth. I was really excited about it. I built a supplement around it. And people were happy because they were taking the pill for the problem. But I realized, that's one solution. But we need to zoom out and really look at the issue from a more global situation. Why are we inflamed? We're inflamed because there's a lot of factors that cause inflammation in our system. And from the Ayurvedic perspective, from the ancient wisdom perspective, this is just friction. We have friction going on in our lives from all sorts of levels. And that's what's causing the body to say, hey, I am under attack. I'm going to respond to this because I have to survive. And so in the modern day sense, we talk about that as environmental toxins that are coming at us. The way we process our foods. Is it ultra processed or seed oils? Or is it grilled or fried too much? And then it's like really changing the state of that food. Is it pH balance? Is it bacteria or infections? Is it stress? We know stress alone can cause inflammation. So there's a lot of things coming at us that can cause inflammation. And the poor body is like, what do you want me to do? I'm just trying to stay healthy. And maybe I'm not getting enough vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. and inputs to stay healthy. And so that's really my message is we can take this ancient tradition of Ayurveda that's over 5,000 years old, pull the wisdom from it, and start to build a rhythm for ourselves with it. And that alone will help us battle and win against this chronic inflammation.
Yeah, I love that. And, something that, well, first I want to touch on, you got a PhD in turmeric, but we're going to come back to that because you just grazed over that. That is like a whole, my husband just got his PhD. I'm getting on a plane after this to go to his graduation. A PhD is no joke.
Yeah.
And you got it in turmeric. So I've got questions, girlfriend, but first...
Yeah.
I love this. But first, so inflammation is not a flaw, it's a feature, right? We're designed to have it.
Correct.
It's great. Our body's smart. It's putting out the fire, right? But what I hear is we're having an overabundance of it because of environmental toxins or the way that we're living, which I think most of us know.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just I always love to remind people, and I know with your Ayurvedic background, you would feel the same, like the body is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these symptoms are not things to, like you said, like take a pill to get rid of. That's like putting a Band-Aid on your check engine light.
Right.
They're signals to listen to.
Exactly.
And so I would assume in all of your scholarly learning on turmeric, which is incredible, that is turmeric something that really addresses the underlying issue instead of just the outer symptom? Because we want some inflammation,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, acute inflammation is there to really save us and support us. It's that chronic low-grade fire that many of us are suffering from that we don't recognize. And it's so prevalent right now. And so according to ancient Ayurveda and turmeric, we talk a lot about what are those phytonutrients we can bring into our lives that Mother Earth created. So they already know and have this intelligence around what to do in our bodies.
Yeah.
And so with turmeric, when I was sitting in my herbology class in my master's, they talked about cumin seeds and coriander and ginger and cinnamon and fenugreek and fennel. There are so many super spices. But when I understood what turmeric could do, I thought, this is insane. Like, this is incredible. Turmeric is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-candida, anti-H. pylori.
Wow.
It goes in there and it helps with the gut mucosal lining. So that supports us with allergies and autoimmune conditions and immune deficiencies, which to me was a big deal because I always had an immune system that felt like it wasn't defending me. And I was like, wow, if this one plant can help me, I am in. I'm going to study this.
Yeah.
Then it has very powerful anti-inflammatory effects. But it impacts those master switches of inflammation like TNF alpha, NF kappa B, interleukin 6, and thus impacts hundreds of other markers of inflammation in the system, but in a way that has a natural intelligence to it, which I love. So when people come to me and they're like, I have hip pain, I have back pain, I have surgery coming, these are the issues, I say, look, you can start taking it now, and it's gonna go in and do what it needs to do. And then it's gonna go help you with medium issues and then smaller issues. So we know it has a positive effect for cardiovascular issues. When we have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, it can support with that. In terms of the endocrine system, it helps with insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity, which is a big deal with my family history. So the fact that it can help with gut health, heart health, brain health, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, neurocognitive issues, removing plaques from the brain. So to me, there's so much science on it. There's so many controlled trials, double-blind placebo-controlled trials, and there's so much more science coming online. So I could nerd out forever, but that's kind of the highlights of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally going to take one of these home to my dad. We're going to put a code in the show notes, right? A link, and then I think we've got a beautiful discount code for everybody too.
For sure.
Melissa?
Yes, code
Yeah.
Melissa.
Okay, so we'll grab that. But, one of the things I want to ask, you talked about some of these spices. What were the spices again?
Fenugreek, fennel, ginger, cumin, cinnamon.
Okay.
They're all amazing.
So with a little bit that I know about Ayurveda, I would assume those spices are, and turmeric, isn't it heat? Is that hot? So you're hitting inflammation with, I just want to understand that a little bit. So you're not cooling it.
Yeah.
You're kind of meeting it where it is.
Good question. So some people know that. Very few people know.
So explain
that
for anyone who doesn't.
Yeah. So when it comes to the different spices, some are cooling and some are heating. So for example, I played with and built a menopause tea, and in it I put lychee and fenugreek and fennel, and in adaptogen we call shatavari. In the West we call it shatavari. And that tea will cool the whole system down because in menopause, we're complaining a lot or we're experiencing hot flashes, night sweats, mood getting hot. And so you want to cool it down. But you're right. It's interesting that ginger and turmeric, which are very powerful anti-inflammatories, do have a warming effect in the system.
Right.
And what we're dealing with is inflammation, which is hot. But yes, it's like with like in this case, that's going in there and helping clear things out, which is surprising. But what we're doing there is really so multidimensional and so multi-level when it comes to turmeric. You're really going at it from so many different angles.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful way of honoring the body, right? It's I think one of the most important paradigm shifts and foundational principles that we can adopt is that our body isn't failing us.
Correct.
We are not victims to it.
Right.
You know, and I know we believe this, and I think most of my listeners do, but like, of the many things you'll take from this podcast, like, please take that lesson that the body knows what it's doing.
Right.
And so it's not, you know, when I hear someone say, oh, my bad knee or, you know, anything, it's switching from this victim mindset
Right.
to empowerment and knowing that our body is telling us it either has too much of something it doesn't want or it needs more of something that it's not getting. And that completely changes, I mean, the way that I was raised and when I switched that paradigm, probably through chiropractic school.
Yeah.
It's a messenger and it's always telling you, right? And so it's just a matter of listening. And now, thank God to like books like yours and podcasts and even ChatGPT sometimes, like we've got endless resources at our disposal to help figure out these messengers. And I love the tools like yours that are addressing the underlying. So I know you talk about like these simple daily rhythms for gut health and inflammation. You know I love the simple tools. So
Yes.
walk us through some of your favorites.
And I love your simple tools. I did my Melissa Saunders morning routine today. And I was
Your
like,
magical morning.
yes, I thought of you. I journaled. I was like, this girl says this is the best way. So I'm going to listen and try this out.
Do you like it?
I do. It helped because I was like, you know, every morning it's iPhone first because the iPhone is coming for you. It's pinging. And even as I journaled, it pinged. And I said, you know what? No, sorry. I'm going to take this for me.
Yeah, do not disturb airplane mode.
Yeah.
Huge, yeah.
Exactly. So I journaled and I did call and answer like you've talked about because sometimes you go to journal and you have nothing to write.
Right, or you think it has to be some beautiful poetic.
Yeah.
It's just call and response, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I need today?
Exactly.
And listen for the answer.
So I wrote, what am I worried about? What am I hoping to get out of this conference this week? And that's all I did. And it was actually much easier.
And how long did it take you? That's like the
2
beauty.
minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
So a little side tangent, but
Yes.
maybe we'll stick some links for like magical morning and what we're talking about here.
I loved it. I loved
Good.
it.
Hey, quick pause. If you are someone who loves a checklist because it makes you feel like, all right, I actually did something today, this is for you. I created something called the Self-With checklist. It's basically your super simple reminder to get in your regulation reps, those 2 minutes, 3 times a day for you in those micro moments you actually have. This isn't another thing to add to your busy to-do list. The power is in how simple and subtle this is. You'll be shocked how much more connected and grounded you start to feel just by checking off these tiny boxes consistently. You can grab it through the first link below in the description or by scanning the QR code here. Okay, so tell me about your simple daily rhythms.
So in Ayurveda came up with the circadian clock. So this thing we're talking about in the biohacking longevity space all the time around circadian clock and sleep is the original Ayurvedic concept that says nature is the original biohack. Nature is everything. If you utilize nature instead of staying disconnected from nature, she will heal you. And it's that simple. So when we talk about the Ayurvedic rhythm, our goal is how do we get you up in the morning and tuned in first? Tune into self. Bring body, mind, and spirit into alignment first. Then go on with your day and try to hold that energy. And so you teach it through journaling and these practices. In Ayurveda, we talked about waking up, hydrating first to create peristalsis. We want you to go to the bathroom, we want you to be cleaned out. And then we teach something called tongue scraping. And tongue scraping is taking a copper tongue scraper and gently scraping the tongue 5 to 7 times.
Okay.
This takes under 30 seconds. It's super fast. But what's great is in Ayurveda, we teach that the tongue reflects all the organs of the body. Just like in reflexology, you've got all the organs reflected on the bottom of your feet. And so when you're gently scraping the tongue, you're gently detoxing the whole body.
You really are doing that? It really works? I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we see tongue scraping everywhere now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we see it everywhere. It's on TikTok and all these things.
Yeah.
But the ancient tradition said the cleaner the tongue, the cleaner the body. The cleaner the tongue, the cleaner all your organs are. And we teach so much about detoxing on a seasonal annual basis. So this is your free, easy, simple way to show up to your detox already pretty ready to go without a lot accumulated.
So you do that, did you say you do that morning and night, the tongue scrape?
In the morning.
Before you brush your teeth or after you brush your teeth?
So people choose, but I like to do it after. So I brush my teeth, scrape my tongue, rinse it off, rinse my mouth, done.
Okay.
Super
Beautiful,
fast,
easy.
super easy.
Yeah.
Then the next one would be oil pulling, which some people have tried and some people think is crazy and weird.
Love oil pulling.
You do? Okay. So oil pulling means take any food grade organic oil. So it could be coconut oil, sesame oil, any of the great oils out there. There's even oils that taste minty because we're used to our morning routine being minty. And you put that in the mouth for about 5 to 20 minutes. Now, I know that sounds like a long time, but you could do a lot of other things while you oil pull. You could shower, make your morning coffee, walk around, get dressed. There's a lot you can do keeping oil in your mouth. But what it's doing is it's clearing all the bacteria and toxins that have accumulated in your mouth. And when you spit it out, you spit it in the trash, not your sink, toilet, or shower. Let's not clog the house pipes. But what you're doing is you're clearing the oral microbiome, which clears the gut microbiome. And that's huge. And we know oral health is heart health. We have a lot of science on that. So I love that Ayurveda gave us simple practices that kick off the morning and we're already winning. And then whatever else you do all day, good job. You're doing your best. But at least you won at self-love, self-care first thing and set that tone. And so for me, the rhythm is I put me first. I take care of me too. I put that oxygen mask on first. As a mom, my whole life is oriented towards the kids first. And so to have a morning routine where I'm like, you know what? I took care of me. I'm settled. I'm aligned. And now I can start my day.
Yeah. And like you said, it's a few minutes. It's a few minutes. Okay, so love those practices. You talked a little bit about your tea, and I want you to tell everyone about that because I think tea too, moms love drinks.
Yes.
Look at us. We have like our lineup of drinks.
Yeah.
And I think drinks are a bit of self-care for us because it's like, here, at least I've got my thing while I'm helping everybody else.
Correct.
And so teas are so nourishing and warm. And it sounds like you've got a hormonal blend that, we all need something like that. So tell us about the teas, what's in them and how do we get them?
So I have been teaching the rituals of Ayurveda and the self-care rituals for over a decade or two. And I realized as a mom, like you said, we're usually on the go. And so my self-care kind of had to become an on-the-go practice. And so I created one self-care ritual that I added to the Ayurvedic self-care rituals called Tea Time is Me Time. And so I have a collection of teacups. I'm obsessed with tea and teacups, so everyone gives me tea. And tea to me is a moment of pause. It's a moment of setting an intention, tuning in, which you talk about a lot. You talk about those brain waves. And in Ayurveda, we said tea is a beautiful ritual to just pause, take a moment, tune into self, and ask yourself some potent questions like, how am I doing today? Am I hydrating today? How do I feel? What do I need to change for today to be better? And when I ask myself that question, I usually get really powerful answers.
For sure.
Like, you haven't planned for you to get dinner today the way you're doing this. You need to build a break in here. Or you need to cancel on that thing you said yes to that's not right for you. And so our own intuition is so powerful. It has so many answers. And so tea to me is one of the most powerful rituals. And once I started my Ayurvedic turmeric company, I thought, one day I want to own a tea company because tea is one of my favorite things on earth. And so I built a deep sleep tea to help us relax the mind and digestive system for a better night's sleep. Then I built my menopause support tea because I was going through perimenopause and I was like, I think I could really help women with this. And the Ayurvedic adaptogens are so powerful. Then I realized when I get home from work, I'm still going at 100 miles an hour. And I need to learn how to downshift into my evening and afternoon with the kids or it doesn't work. So I made one called Unwind Tea that helps with cortisol balance and really slowing us down a notch. So
I'm hearing theta alpha, right? And hearing that connect and that pause. Yeah,
so I'm just building teas to help us through those different points of the day so that we have a cue. Because sometimes we need the physical cue to help create that mental, emotional cue. And to me, what's great is we now know sipping a hot beverage helps with vagus nerve toning, dropping us into the parasympathetic. So there's a very modern scientific explanation. But in the ancient traditions, having tea a couple times a day had so many medicinal benefits. And so that's what I'm creating now is medicinal benefit Ayurvedic teas, which are adaptogenic, functional, but taste good.
I love that. Okay, so we'll link those as well so everyone can get those. And what's really important in that message, guys, I don't know if you got this, but when she's drinking her tea, you are not looking at your phone.
No phone.
You are not multitasking. And I think that's I don't think, I know. That is where the magic is. So you say you get these insights, you get these hits. Those are there for us all the time. But you think about how often we're just constantly slamming information into our brains so that we don't have space to hear that. So what a beautiful ritual.
Yeah.
To drink the warm beverage that has all those medicinal benefits and connect with you and hear you again.
Exactly.
Or hear nothing.
Yeah.
Or like clear the slate in our busy brains.
Yeah, sometimes I just need that like white noise, just space and stillness.
Yeah, when do we get
But
that in our
it is a
lives?
discipline to put the phone down. I literally will start tea and I'm like, okay, well, let me check in. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're checking in with. We're not checking in with the world. We're checking in with ourselves. Because if I don't check in with myself, I'm just on an autopilot of go, go, go. The list of things to do is running the show. And I never get a break. And then I wonder, why am I always feeling behind? And so to me, tea is that moment. Just pause, sip. You feel so good and soothed and comforted, and then you move forward.
So beautiful. So check in, but not checking in with the world, checking in with you.
Exactly.
All right, talk to us about your book. Why did you write this beautiful book, The Inflammation Code? I'm going to also grab that for my dad. And why is it different than a lot of those other books out there about inflammation?
So I wrote this book to show everyone that the Ayurvedic lifestyle is such a powerful lifestyle. I have worked with thousands of clients over the last decade, and each time I teach them the 6 pillars of Ayurveda. I teach them their circadian rhythm. I teach them their unique elemental design, if they're more air, fire, or earth. That's really powerful to know because you can customize your entire lifestyle to that. I teach them about the gut digestive fire and how we can ignite it every day and get that metabolism churning and burning and moving. I teach circadian rhythm, and then I also teach mindful medicine chest. So this herb kit you can make for yourself, this pharmacy, F-A-R-M pharmacy of herbs and spices we can start to use in our lives. We're living a pretty protein-first lifestyle and clean lifestyles right now, but that can get pretty boring. And so I like to teach everyone how you can use cumin seeds and different herbs and spices to add more flavor to your life, more spice to your life, but in a way that's so beneficial to your health. And then finally, I like to really teach about a final concept that came to me when I was writing this book. My goal was, let me show you that the Ayurvedic lifestyle is anti-inflammatory. So your entire lifestyle can help you win against this pervasive chronic inflammation. And as I was finishing writing the book, I kept thinking there's one last piece missing. And the last piece was mental inflammation. I was in the shower where I get my best ideas because you talked about that, how that's when we're in that state to get those ideas. And as I stood there, I realized, you know what? Stress is going to cause this inflammation that's going to harm us no matter how healthy we are. So many of us in the health and wellness space work out, lift, cardio, walk, sleep well. Like we're doing the work, eating clean, high protein. We've almost made health and wellness a full-time job.
100%.
And then the stress alone will cause the inflammation that will harm or kill us anyways. And so that's when the term came to me. I kept asking, I need a word for this. And I coined the term mental inflammation. And I think it's the underlying current that's harming us and we underestimate it. So I wrote a whole chapter on let's build resilience so that we don't have mental inflammation running the show.
That's so important. I mean, I think a lot of people hear about HRV, right? Heart rate variability, and that's our resilience. That's the marker of our resilience. Right. And so we can't control what's going on in our life, but we can control how quickly we regulate, right? Right. Yeah. What I love about all the tools that you're talking about is their alignment. Yeah. And to me, alignment doesn't always mean ease, but it means congruency. So whether that's congruency with our circadian rhythm, right, congruency with nature, congruency with our body and what it's asking for. These are such beautiful foundational principles that completely change our health. So thank you for all this information. We're going to link codes and where to find you. Awesome. Is there any last message you maybe want to leave the listeners with?
Yes. You know, ancient traditions like Ayurveda, like Chinese medicine, homeopathy, naturopathic medicine, all of them have so much to offer us. And we're living through a moment where we've kind of tried so much. We've tried all those trends and those fads. And I think the women who are going through this journey, maybe it's perimenopause, menopause, maybe it's earlier, we're kind of coming to terms with, we need to know our own truth. We need to live by that. And so I call that sovereignty. I want sovereignty in my health. I want sovereignty in all areas. And so to me, that ancient tradition, for me, it's Ayurveda. For you, it might be chiropractic, naturopathic. These are all such wisdom tools. But I encourage everyone to find the one that works best for them, because that can be the game changer that gives you the wholeness, the nourished feeling that you're craving. And that's what Ayurveda gave to me. And so that's why I'm teaching it to the world.
I love that. It's reconnection with self because we've got it, right?
Exactly.
Oh, Dr. Shivani, thank you so much for being here. This was so beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. All right, guys. Hope you loved that one as much as I did. We will link all the resources in the show notes. As always, reach out with any questions, click that share button, and send this to someone in your life that could use this information. See you next time.